Hello, my name is Ivy Hung Wen. I am currently a PhD candidate in chemistry at the University of Washington in Seattle. Today I'm going to present to you my capstone project that I did for the Data Incubator Fellowship, which involves investigating the quality of businesses offered to the customer using customer complaints database. I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to hear back any feedback or comment that you have for me. Thank you. This project involves investigating and evaluating the quality of business services from different categories across the U.S. based on the consumer complaints database that were collected by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The main goal of this project is to use the provided database to point out the quality of business services offered to customers based on the complaints that were filed. Now, this data analysis could potentially help companies of different categories to compare their customer satisfaction rate to that of their competitors. And I believe that through this comparison, companies can develop new strategy to improve their employee training and therefore could help to increase the profit of that company. So to start my data exploration part, I generated a horizontal bar plot which shows the total number of complaints by state. Based on this bar plot, we can see that California, which is representing right here, has the largest number of complaints in comparison to the other states. However, one thing that should be noted here is that this plot did not really factor in the population distribution within the US, and therefore it totally can be skewed. And because of that, because using the states as my categorical separation was not really an ideal choice, I chose to plot the number of complaints based on product, but separated by regions. I separated my data into 4 different regions, which is Midwest, Northeast, South, and West. Now, this first part that you're seeing here is that I chose to plot my data as vertical bar plots, which group different regions into particular group for each category. The second format for the same sub-data set that I plotted, which I like so much better, is that I actually having separate individual vertical bar plot for each category, and is representing for each region in different bar plot. So it's very interesting that mortgage shows to have the largest number of complaints from the 4 regions, as we can see here. Another thing that's really interesting is that the South has the largest number of complaints from all product categories, as we can see here. The South is representing by blue color. And in all categories, the South has the largest number of total complaints in comparison with other regions of the states. Now, since mortgage shows to have the dominant number of complaints in comparison to the other services, I wanted to zoom in into this particular category and see how it's gotta be. So here we are. In the mortgage zone digging deeper section, what I did first was I generated a new plot which shows the list of top 20 mortgage companies that have the largest number of number of complaints. Then from this list, what I did was I calculated the percentage of complaints that were or were not resolved promptly to the customers. In other words, what I did was I calculated the delay percentage, which represents the proportion of complaints that was not responded on a timely manner, and then also an on-time percentage, which represents the proportion of complaints that were responded on a timely manner. So you can see right here. The top part here that I'm showing is the on-time percentage that particular company has, which represent for number of complaints or the proportion of complaints over the total complaints the company has, which was responded on time to their customers. While the bottom part, what you're seeing is the percentage of delayed responses that they have to their customers. So it is very interesting that while the top plot that I'm showing, the on-time percentage horizontal bar plot, it does not really show an obvious fact, the delay percentage bar plots is very interesting because it shows that it's really obvious that it shows which companies really need to improve their customer service in order to gain a higher rating in their customer satisfaction. Moving on, I decided to plot a time series scatter plot for all 4 regions, which show the total number of complaints over time. What you're seeing here is that on the x-axis, it is the date received, which representing for the date that the complaints were received by the company. And on the y-axis is the total number of complaints for different regions: Midwest, Northeast, South, and West. This plot confirms the previous fact that I pointed out earlier, which is the South has the largest number of complaints, as you're seeing here. Besides that, there is an interesting split in every time series scatter plot for each regions. What you're seeing is, if we look at the Midwest, we're seeing kind of split within this scatter time series plot. The Northeast, the split happened to be a little bit more obvious, and by the time we get to the South regions, even more obvious. The West is a little bit less obvious than the South, and obviously more apparent than Midwest and Northeast region. So my suspicion for what's happening here for the split is that there is a difference in the numbers of complaints between the weekends and the weekdays. And because of this, the weekdays and the weekends has their own branch of the time series scatter plot. However, further investigation will need to be conducted to confirm which of these branches actually being the top and which one actually representing for the bottom. Because customers can have more time during the weekends to complain, and potentially that could means this top part representing for complaints that was filed during the weekends, or it can be the opposite direction. So that was the reason why I was saying further investigation will need to be conducted to confirm this assumption. And then finally, what I'm having here is that I generated 2 curve plots for this data set. One showing the number of total complaints for all businesses by state, and the other one is the number of complaints from just only mortgage businesses by state. However, since the population distribution, once again, was not factored in to my data analysis part, these plots still need further improvement to really pointing out how the distribution of complaint that were filed actually can be seen. For further work, we can look into subcategory for each product to see which one of them will need further improvement in terms of customer satisfaction rate. And this can be done by separating the data set for the subcategory of each product of each business by state or by region or even by companies. That was my project. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. In conclusion, the main idea of this project is to help customers having a bigger pictures when it comes to choosing a particular service or product, and also help the companies with the corresponding product or service to visualize the statistics and improve their service to the customers. Thank you so much once again, and I hope to hear back any feedback or comment from you.